Well, howdy, good morning. This is Coach Joe again. We're going to continue with our pattern for success. I think we've covered, uh, what did we cover? We covered books and tapes, we covered the system, we covered the fact that you need to read and learn and teach and grow yourself and then grow your people, grow the business. We covered that people move the products, products don't move the people. We covered the most important aspect of the system, the personal relationship, the mentoring, the counseling, the encouragement, and all those wonderful things. And we're coming up now to the next step in the pattern, which is make some commitments. And this one is as equally as important as the first one. If it's anything, it's it's 90, 95% for 100% actually for the dream and the why. And this one is in balance. If the dream is big enough, if it's something you want bad enough, then you're going to have to decide the level of commitment that you're going to make, not to the business, not to the doing of the business, but the level of commitment that the dream is worth. Uh, it always amazed me over the years as I brought in hundreds of people and worked with thousands and tens of thousands of people, how many people would put down huge goals and huge dreams and huge things that they wanted that 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years of working 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week hadn't gotten them and wasn't going to get them in the next 10 years. And they would want to make a 2 hour a week commitment here, and it was like a hobby. I mean, you've got to decide, guys, is this the thing that you're really going to commit to accomplish the things that you want? And are the things you want worthy of committing your time and your energy and focusing and setting a priority to accomplish the things? How important is, again, don't weigh how important is doing the business. How important is accomplishing the dream? How fast do you want it? How soon do you want it? How hard are you willing to, I don't want to say work hard, because when you're chasing the dream, it's not really working hard. It's almost fun. I mean, what's the difference between getting up early and going to play golf or tennis or something? Uh, we call that recreation, and getting up and maybe even spending less energy cutting the grass, and that's work. That's all an attitude. I've never considered doing the things that are moving me closer to my dream as work. They've been uncomfortable for me. They've not been necessarily fun, but I never really looked at them as work because I wasn't working. I was I was investing my energy and my time to move closer. It wasn't like you go, you work on a job all week for 40 hours, you get your paycheck, and you pay bills with it. Uh, what enjoyment is there in working someplace you don't like, doing something you don't necessarily want to do? And you're working for a check that everybody else is waiting for you to get so you can give it to them. That's not very exciting. But when you're working something that's going to pay you and that you're going to be able to take the check and the money and spend on you and on your dreams and goals, changes the whole perspective. So the difference I saw in the people who reached the incredibly successful level, I don't know the exact numbers. Every time I say it, it'll probably come up with a different number. I had about, I don't know, 20 or 25 people on my team that I worked with directly reach the millionaire, the financial independent. Well, they're actually the millionaire status, but that's beyond for some of them financial independence. I probably had several hundred. I don't even know. I'd say 300 or 400 people that I worked with who were able to leave their jobs by choice and go full-time living. May not have had the total financial freedom to get everything they wanted, but they were able to get the most important thing they wanted, which was their freedom, which was the only thing that was important to me. And the difference between those people and the rest of the masses of the people who made a little extra money or a little spending money, or maybe, it was just a couple of words. It was a matter of priority. It was a matter of focus. It was a matter of making the moving toward the dream on a daily basis a high priority. They didn't let things get in the way. Those of us that got obsessed about achieving our goals. We didn't let anything get in the way. Uh, I went out and showed the plan and did meetings with people when I wouldn't have gone to work because I was that sick or feeling that bad, but I would go build my business. I would go chase my dream. Uh, the people who succeed big time, the financial independence seekers, they don't let other things get in the way. They understand the difference between being busy and being productive. They understand the difference between the urgent and the important. And they are able to prioritize and focus and do the necessary things on a daily, almost hourly basis. If it isn't moving me toward my dream, I mean, it's the most frustrating thing in the world to not be able to book a meeting, not be able to go out and be doing something. I beat my head against the walls if I couldn't get a meeting because I couldn't stand to be doing nothing that was moving me toward my dream or goal. So the biggest commitment you're going to make is that one. It's just what priority are you going to give your dream? Thereby, what priority are you going to put into doing productive things on a daily basis that are going to move you closer to that dream? Are you going to become sidelined? Are you become distracted? Are you going to let things get in the way? That's the most important commitment you're going to make. The second most important commitment you got to make is to protect your attitude. You've got to make some tough decisions. It gets back to that association, becoming what you read. So there may be people in your life that you just may not be able to spend a lot of time with because they subtract from your attitude bank account rather than make deposits. You want to hang around with people who make deposits to your bank account, not people who subtract. And sometimes that's a toughie. You have to decide, I can't, you're not, it's kind of like, the room gets brighter when you leave. I can't be around people that are, drawing from me, who are taking away, who don't believe in me, who take away my belief, who fill me with negative. I've always thought, I don't particularly crazy about reading newspapers and looking at the news. I don't need to turn on the news or paper and see, some axe murderer killed his neighbor. That's not beneficial to keeping my attitude up. I don't need to go out word looking for an axe murderer and one of my neighbors an axe murderer. You've got to start being picky and choosy about where you associate and who you associate with. That's some of the biggest commitments you got to make. Basically, this business is prospecting, making the list. We'll talk about that. Maybe may have enough time in this one to get into a little bit of that. The commitments are, I'm going to take care of my attitude first. I'm going to feed my mind first. That's the first part. Put your money in, invest in yourself. I'm going to take the time to read. I'm going to discipline myself to do that. Once you start doing it, it won't require much discipline because you'll find out it's incredibly rewarding. But I'm going to listen. I'm going to read. I'm going to counsel. I'm going to associate. I'm going to put the time in my business that is productive. I'm going to sit down and write out a schedule. I'm going to write out my goals. I'm going to do those things that are productive. And then it's just numbers. Okay, you start making the list. You start figuring out what kind of approach are you comfortable with. Myself, I've tried 1,000 different approaches, and there's no magic there. Basically, it's got to be one that fits your personality, and you got to be comfortable with it. I was never comfortable asking somebody to look at the business. I like to use what I call the Allen Pease 5-question approach. I like to find out. You do the form thing, family, occupation, method, blah blah blah. Build a friendship. Ask about. Get to know them a little bit. Listen. They will give you the clues you're looking for. And somewhere people will let you know, or you'll find out in the conversations that they want more time, that they want a better home, they want to live someplace different, they're worried about sending their kids to college, they're worried about a new car, they're worried about this or that or the other, and it's easy. The almost 100% sponsoring rate is find out what someone wants, why don't they have it, if they're doing what they're doing isn't getting it. And then ask them, if I can show you how to get that, are you serious about it? Do you really want it? Let me show you how we can get that. And then when I'm done with the presentation, did you see how this could get what you told me you wanted? Or do I need to explain it more? People talk about, the plan, is there anything you didn't like about the plan? I don't ask those kind of questions. I want to know did I explain to you well enough and show you how this could get you what you told me you wanted? Are you really serious about that? Let's get started, not in the business, let's get started getting you what you told me you wanted. Here's how we get that. We go find 3 people. You know, we make the list. We go find 3 people. We send them to the webinar. We explain the program to them. That process is accomplishing your dream and moving you toward the dream. That's the commitment you make. That's all there is to this. You know, once you get the personal attitude right, once you start realizing you need to help people change their thinking and their attitudes, become a mentor or a leader, then it's just numbers. And you have to understand, I don't care how good the product is, the plan. There's a percent. There's an 80-20 rule. There's a 95-5 rule. There's negative people. There are people who just have to have a boss. They have to have a job. They have to have somebody tell them when to get up, when to go to bed, when to go to eat. You know, and I'm not putting those people down. I'm just saying you got to recognize there are people. You can't. I guess the hardest thing you have to understand, at least it was the hardest thing for me, was you can't make anybody successful. The biggest mistake people make in network marketing is trying to make non-achievers into achievers. You spend more time trying to convert people and change people rather than just go find people that want more and are willing to do more to get it. So that's where your energy has to go. Just make the list, start making the contact, decide whether you're going to use the webinar, or you're going to use your website, what kind of tool are you going to use to get people to your website to sign up. Are you going to do it on the phone? Are you good on the computer? Are you good person to person? Do you need to be belly to belly? I'm not crazy about the 3-way call, but it's effective. It can work. I don't like to promote a program that ties people up on the phone with people all the time. I want people to become independent. There are plenty of tools that you don't have to do that. If you're comfortable doing that, I'm not opposed to it. It just doesn't fit my style. I'm not a 3-way phone call type person. First of all, I don't want to be the slave to the phone, where I've got to be available to, that's not what I want to do. I want personal freedom. But there is that approach if you want it. There are all kind of digital things you can use now, where you can set up autoresponders, and people will go through 1, 2, or 3 steps to get to your website. And by the time they've made that yes commitment, they've said a yes, then it's easy just to go ahead, and sign up in whatever the program is. So that's not difficult. So that's the commitment. Then the list we could spend, the biggest thing on the list is really simple. Put everybody on the list. Do not prejudge. Do not try to figure out who would and who wouldn't. Generally, you're looking for people who've shown that they want more out of life and willing to do more. The more successful they already are, the better the prospect they are for the business. Don't prejudge and think they got it made. They may have all kind of things going on in their life that you don't know about. They may be praying for you to come along. And that's the other thing you need to get your attitude right about. You're not trying to talk somebody into something. You're not trying to sell somebody something. You're not trying to get somebody into something. There are people going to bed every night praying for what you've got. They're praying you will come along tomorrow. They go to bed, there's got to be something better. There's got to be a better way. They're frustrated. They don't necessarily show all that. You come along, you have an obligation to share this concept once you know about it. You have an obligation. Take your eye off yourself and think about how it can change other people's lives. And you have an obligation to share it with them. I will hold a gun to somebody's head to look at the opportunity if I have to. I won't chase them down. I won't try to talk them into it, but I will do anything within my power to get them to at least listen to it, because they don't know what they don't know. So that's the major commitment you have to make, is I'm going to put forth the time. I'm going to give it the priority. I am going to do the work. If you want to call it work, I'm going to do the effort. I'm going to put forth I'm going to make the list. I'm going to contact the people. I'm going to show the plan. After that, it's a simple process of you got to learn that we'll talk about probably one more presentation. We'll talk about follow-up, follow-through. We've already talked about counseling. So basically, this is all there is to it. This one is equally as important as the dream. It's just what priority, what level of focus, where will you put the things you need to do on a daily basis in your priority schedule? Are you going to make this pretty close to number 1 for a while until you get closer to where you want to be? If you will do that, you've got 99% of it done, guys. There's no failure here if you don't quit. There's no failure here if you decide I'm going to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes, period. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to go through the numbers. The people are out there. I will find them. I wish you all the success you're willing to work for. Have a great day.